There is something very odd about this picture. For a long period of time, India's top order has been the ones to make the runs. You may have heard of them. They're the ones on the back of all those shirts. The chants you hear, that's them as well. But a couple of years ago at home, they all decided to stop making runs. So what happened was these very handsomely played group decided to let the part-timers, almost all-rounders, and collected weirdos take over all the batting duties at home. So you can see from 2013 to 2020, like all was good. The batters were doing what they should do and the other guys were doing what they should do. And then they decided to let the bowlers completely take over their job as well. If you want to know why I have started comparing Ravi Jadeja's batting to a condom, that's because it's sexy, but it may actually save the innings.
You want to swing wildly at the internet like you've got the new pill in your hand, but you keep getting dead battered. Find the movement you want with NordVPN. They are our protection against terrifying cyber threats and wide-batted geo-blocks. NordVPN will help you get through any rights restrictions so you can watch all the cricket you want. We aren't always happy with the wickets we're on. Sometimes we need a change. NordVPN can switch your virtual location so your IP address is ready to cash in. So if you need to get around the internet's rules, or I suppose in our case laws, select NordVPN. They can help you watch a game on a cheaper stream in another country. Give NordVPN the ball and let them penetrate all your vast internet issues. Because if you need a VPN, go Nord. Use nordvpn.com/Kimber to get a huge discount off your NordVPN plan plus 4 additional months for free. It's completely risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. You can also receive a 20GB daily data voucher. The link is in the show notes. Protect your computer like a big hitter is coming for you at nordvpn.com/KIMBER right now. Thanks to MV Play, I was able to make this. Their advanced technology can help any cricket team elevate their skills and performance.
Let's just start here. The last 5 years, when at home, India has the best batting from spots 7 to 9 in the world. And having this is one of those things that needs a lot more context, right? Because maybe it's because they're great and their top order is destroying bowling everywhere, or maybe it's because they're terrible and their top order has not done anything, and so the other guys just have to make runs. So this is not bad in and of itself. I mean, New Zealand is a very good side to be next to. They won a World Test Championship. So did Australia. England and the Bazball. Even Bangladesh have been improving. I think this is the good end of the graphic to be on. The issue though is when we switch it and we look at the top 6 batters, right? Suddenly you have Pakistan as the best batters at home, with Australia in the middle and Sri Lanka. In what world does India want to be behind Pakistan and Sri Lanka on a graphic like this? Now, conditions play a huge role in this. I'm pretty sure you, me, and that guy that picks up coins outside the local pub could probably average about 25 when batting on some Pakistani wickets. But when you have names as heavy as Rohit, Kohli, and Pant, heavy lies the crown. And it's currently slipped off their heads at home and is strangling them. Well, it would. It's not quite that simple though. We need to get into some crickety stuff here to fully explain it to you. Essentially, India have been juicing up their wickets for some time now, and it's much harder to bat. And you can see that the time that it is hardest to bat is specifically between overs 21 and 40. It's really poor time to go out and bat. Your numbers 7, 8, and 9, unless something has gone really poorly, and that does happen on occasion, usually are not going to come out to bat here. More likely, they're going to come out between overs 41 and 60, and you can see that when that ball completely loses its lacquer and starts to go very soft, it's very easy. This is the best time to bat. There's nothing surprising about that, although we don't always look at Asian wickets in this way. But the point being is this is the 40 overs that you want to bat in, and this is definitely the 20 overs that you do not want to. But this is all bowling, right? Let's get rid of all that nonsense and just have a look at pace versus spin. You can see here that again, the new ball, when it keeps that lacquer on, you can handle it when you're batting in India. The minute the lacquer comes off and the ball is still hard, that is absolutely the worst time to bat. And it doesn't really start to get good until that ball softens up right towards the end. And you can also see a pattern here. This is overs 1 to 20 and this is overs 21 to 40. Well, this is overs 81 to 100. So there's a new ball there. And then straight away, it gets really difficult to face the spin again. So the pattern that we are seeing here is the lacquer coming off the ball, but the ball staying hard, which allows it to grip and spin at pace. And we can even look at the spin directly here. Here's the degrees of spin. So you can see with the new ball, it doesn't spin quite as much because there's still that lacquer on the outside of the ball. The minute that starts to come off, we see a lot more spin straight away. But as the ball gets softer and softer and softer, it gets a lot harder to actually bowl spin in this period, which means if you come in this period specifically, the ball actually isn't spinning that much. And if it is spinning, it's probably doing it very slowly. All you need to be able to do is block a lot and not play stupid shots. And the Indian lower order is great at those two things specifically. And so let's take a look at what this actually means, because this is one of my favorite graphics. You can see here that the Indian openers, they're doing a great job. The orange line is the rest of the world at home. And you can see the Indian openers at home doing way better. Yay, Rohit, right? But then at every other position here, India are actually under. It's only the number 6 position, when that ball starts to get a little bit softer, that India get back on top. But they're on top for the 7 and the 8 and the 9 as well. It is that lower middle order, that early tail, however you want to say it, that is absolutely dominating. This is such a weird looking graphic for a team that has been so dominant at home. You would expect them to be good at like everything here. But this isn't an accident, right? They have chosen this. They made sure that their wickets were juiced up. And when you juice up your wickets, it means that the hard ball is the hardest to play. And they're sending out their batters to essentially fail, hoping that this happens all the time. This is an intentional shape. But what we really want to look at here is what it used to look like. So from 2013 to 2020, you could see that the top 6 absolutely starring, doing their job, handling pace well, but being even better against spin. And the 7, 8, 9, they were just batting normally, like numbers 7, 8, 9 should be. A little bit better against spin, which again would make sense if they're subcontinental 7, 8, 9s, but they weren't doing particularly bad against pace. What if we just go through to now? Well, this is horrific. The change here is so obviously dramatic. Now, all the Indian batters are doing quite well against pace, but you can see that the averages here are really similar between the top 6 and the 7, 8, 9. That should never ever be allowed to happen. But of course, with these new juiced up Indian wickets, we see that everyone is struggling. And we get it. The ball's spinning a lot. It's dangerous. The issue is there is no time that these lines should ever be close together. And if we have a look at both of them here, you start to get a really good idea of just the different shapes that we are looking at. Cricket in India from 2013 to 2020 was absolutely nothing like what we are watching right now with our own human eyes. And all of that leads us to this. Let's look at how many times the 7, 8, and 9 have been close to making as many runs as the entire top 6. Remember, there are 3 people who bat 7, 8, and 9, and there are 6 people who bat in the top 6. You probably didn't need me to explain that, and yet here I did. And let me just explain exactly what you're looking at. This is by game, right? So we are looking at individual games. And anytime you see one of these orange lines up near the blue line, that means that those 3 guys did better than those 6 guys who are paid to bat. That means this is all the different occasions when they have completely bailed out the top order. I mean, there is so many of them. It's overwhelming. And you can see that on day 1 against Bangladesh, they actually went above and beyond. And this has been going on for a very long time now. Look, it's always been the case that it's been better to bat down the order than up the order. But it isn't usually the case that down the order bails you out again and again and again and again and again.
I have a book out with Abhishek Mukherjee, and it is called Overthrowing Cricket's Empire. And it's about the stories of how each team beat England for the first time. We go all the way back to the demon Fred Spofforth getting annoyed at W.G. Grace for acting a little bit like Alex Carey. And then we come all the way to present times with Rashid Khan's England's redemption. We cover every single team to beat England in a major international, but we also talk about the incredible stories like the barefoot basher from Fiji that almost played for New Zealand. In fact, this book is full of tales like that, like how Pakistan lost a top batter after he was on the run from an angry husband of a movie star he was having an affair with, and also how one future captain of his nation realised he might have to go out and bat at Lords and that he didn't own his own pads. Cricket was used as a tool by the empire, but what happens when those nations grow up and get good at it? Find Overthrowing Cricket's Empire on Amazon today.